What's good, y'all? I'm just over here chilling. I just felt like dropping a video real quick. I got some free time, so one of the things that I love about going to the gym the most is, besides getting my body together, because I'm looking good. Like, when I tell you I came a long way, I came a long way. But one of the things that I like about going to the gym is how it's not just about my physical, but my mental and my emotional as well. Like, I'll be in there talking to my trainer. We talk about everything. Like, we talk about everything. We talk about life. We talk about, relationships. We talk about, dealing with family. We talk about dealing with people that hate on you, people that, don't support you. And we talk about everything. Like, and one of the things me and him talked about the other day was how someone asked him, how does he stay motivated to do what it is that he does? And he said he simply told them, I don't. You see what I'm saying? It's the discipline. And it made me start thinking about my life and what I got going on, and made me look back on everything else that I had achieved in my life. And hell, even me going to the gym, or me, faithfully getting up, going to work, just anything in my life. Having that conversation with him made me realize how my motivation always ran thin. Like, there was always a moment where I was motivated, a moment where I was hyped up and I was just ready to go out there and do it. But looking back over my life, I realized that that moment was literally just a moment. It didn't last long at all. And so when your motivation runs out, because it will, because, when you're dealing with life, you're tired, you might be going through some things, and a lot of times you might go through shit and you don't even be in the mood. Like, you don't want to deal with nobody. You don't really want to talk to nobody. Like, you want to just separate yourself from the world for a minute. But when it comes to you doing what it is that you have to do, you can't. And that's when discipline kicks in. I would be lying to y'all if I sat there and said every day I had to get up and go to the gym I felt like it, because I don't. Hell no. Because I'm willingly getting up and I'm going to go put myself through pain in order to dead the old me. Not just my physical, but the old me. Like, when I go to the gym, it's not just my physical body that I'm recreating. It's my mental, it's my emotional. Like, it's like rebuilding myself. Like, I'm becoming reborn type shit. You feel me? I don't feel like going in there most times, but I do it anyway. When I go to work, I don't always feel like getting up, going to work, but I have bills. I got shit to do that requires me to have money. So I get up and do it anyway. And that's just how life is. Like, when I got my CDLs, I was going through something. I ain't tell nobody, and I ain't about to tell y'all now, but I was going through, it was a lot of things being thrown my way, to where when I was extremely motivated about getting them, it didn't last long at all, because the burden of everything else that was going on around me was so heavy to carry that it damn near made me want to tap out with doing that. But it was the discipline. You see, it was the discipline and my ability to stay focused on the goal, the outcome. It would have been easy as fuck for me to just give up on even going to school when I was getting my CDLs. I was going through so much, y'all. Like, I was going through so much to where when I would pull up to school, I would like have to cry sometimes and wipe my motherfucking tears and get my shit together, get my mental together so I can go out there and learn what it is that I needed to learn. It was easy for me during that time to literally turn around and go back home, but I didn't. It was easy for me when it's time for me to go in the gym and lift that heavy ass weight to be like, to text my trainer and be like, I ain't coming in. All that shit is easy to do. But it's hard when you're not disciplined. It's hard as fuck when you're not disciplined. One of the things that helps me get up and still go to the gym is seeing my results. When I look in the mirror every day, I can see what my discipline has been creating. I can literally look at my body and I'm like, okay, yeah, this coming in, okay, this going away type shit. You feel me? Like, that keeps me going. But for me to sit here and, you know, be on this video and try to make it seem like I'm always motivated to do everything that I'm doing in my life, I would be lying to y'all. I'm not. But when you walking in greatness and you trying to make a change in your life and you trying to do better, when you look back, times where you grow weary and you be tired and you be ready to give up, when you look back over your life and you look at all that you've been through, when you look at everything that you've endured, that makes you take another step into greatness. It makes you keep going. When you done fell on your hands and your knees because you tired, when you sitting there crying and shit and you like, man, fuck this ain't for me. When you look back over everything that you've been through and everything that you've endured, times where you ain't had nobody to turn to, times where you ain't have a pot to piss in, or you ain't really had no bed to lay in, you sleeping on motherfuckers' couches or they floors, times where you ain't had no food. When you think about all that shit, it makes you keep going, even when you don't want to. Your motivation has an expiration date. And that expiration date is short as fuck. That's when your discipline has to kick in. You have to be disciplined. You have to be able to get up every day when you don't feel like it. I don't give a fuck if you gotta cry or scream or meditate, pray, whatever it is that you do. I don't care what it is that you have to do in order to do it, but you have to get up and you have to keep moving forward. Because the moment you stop, that moment where you stop and you feel like you just, let me just take a little break, or, you know, I'll get to it tomorrow, or I'll get to it next week. That moment right there is so fucking comfortable to be in that if you're not careful, you'll mess around and never come up out of it. And it's a lot of people out here today. They sit there, they talk about what they want to do with their life. They talk about, you know, how they got these goals and these dreams, and, you know, it's easy to talk about that shit, but it's hard to actually be about it, especially when you got other shit that's happening around you when you're doing it, when you're working towards it. You have to be disciplined. That's when discipline kicks in. That's when discipline is everything. It's everything. I don't give a fuck if you're going through a heartbreak. I don't give a fuck if you lost a loved one. I don't give a fuck if, you lost your job. No matter what you go through, you have to be able to be disciplined to continue moving forward towards your greatness. Because if you don't, you're going to become too complacent. You're going to become too comfortable, and you're going to fuck off. Because it's easy to do that. It's easy to not give a fuck. It's easy to not get up when you don't feel like it. But that discipline is what creates the strength in you that you need to keep moving forward. That discipline is everything. Because the more you train yourself to be disciplined, which is just simply still moving forward, still pushing yourself anyway, the more you train yourself to be disciplined, you will later find out in life, the more things you're trying to achieve, the more levels that you climb in life, it gets a little easier. Not saying that shit will stop coming your way. You always gonna have obstacles and mountains to climb and hurdles to jump and all that shit. You're gonna have people that, you know, that try to discourage you or try to make fun of you or don't support you. That's always gonna happen. But the more you train yourself to be disciplined and to stay disciplined, the easier it gets to keep moving forward. When all those obstacles and shit come, you'll move in a more confident way. You'll be more confident. Despite the circumstance, you'll be more confident because you know that if I got through this other shit, I can get through this. If I climb that mountain, I can climb this mountain too. If I jump that hurdle, I can jump over this hurdle too. And I'm a living witness to that. It gets easier. You got to understand that your mind, everybody's mind is conditioned. Right? And a lot of people out here, their mind is conditioned to be the victim. Motherfuckers want to play the victim. Motherfuckers want to spend the rest of their life pointing their fingers at everything and everybody that, you know, their mama wasn't there, their daddy wasn't there. They wasn't born into a rich family. It's a lot of people out here that want to be the fucking victim. But I tell you that the one thing about being the victim is all you're doing is holding yourself back. You're hindering yourself. So you can sit there and point the finger all the fuck you want. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's up to you. Nobody is in control as far as the cards we was dealt with in life. We can't help that shit. That's what it was. That's how your story began. But you got to understand that when you get out that victim mentality and you learn to stop pointing the fingers at everybody else and start focusing on whatever the fuck it is that you got to do and start working on being disciplined to do that, the rest of your life story is up to you. I don't give a fuck what happened to you. Because at the end of the day, no one really cares what fucking happened to you. We all have a story. We all have a background that was uncomfortable to us in its own way. But even despite that shit, you still have to be disciplined. And you may have every right in the world to feel some type of way about your upbringing or, you know, a motherfucker breaking your heart or whatever the fuck it is. You might have every right in the world to feel some type of way or to even point the finger at them. But you have to even be disciplined in that shit to keep it pushing. Motherfuckers did what they did. People said what they said. Motherfuckers didn't show up the way they should have showed up. But guess what? Despite all of that, the question is, what you gonna do about it? What you gonna do? Sit there and play the victim for the rest of your life? You gonna sit there and cry and bitch about it? Because it's easy to do that. I know, because I used to do that. Spent years of my life being a victim. The whole why me. But I had to snap into reality. And I had to realize that whole time I'm sitting there in my feelings about some shit that happened years ago, it's not getting me nowhere. So caught up in how I felt about the shit that I didn't realize that I was still stuck in the same fucking spot I was for years. Then you stop looking at the shit you was complaining about, and then you start being mad at yourself for even allowing yourself to even dwell on that shit for that long. Then at that moment, you gotta sit there and retrain your mind and get yourself out that victim mentality and figure out, now, what do I need to do to move forward? And that shit is tough. It's tough. So you need to understand, your motivation has an expiration date. That shit don't last long at all. It gets very discouraging out here, especially when you going about shit the right way and you ain't trying to take no shortcuts. Like I told y'all in my last video about taking shortcuts and shit. When you're out here going about things the right way, like when you really focused on the process, that shit gets discouraging. Especially when you experience setbacks, because you will. One moment everything seemed like it's going good, and then boom, here comes something, and it knock you right off your fucking feet. And at that moment, you either gonna sit there and cry about it, which is okay. You can cry about it, be mad about it, but the question is always gonna be this: what are you gonna do? What you gonna do about it? You got knocked down on your ass once again. What are you gonna do about it? It's the discipline that keeps me going. It's the discipline with my diet that keeps my body looking the way that it's been looking. I be wanting pizza and burgers and shit. Everybody know I love burgers. I be wanting the biggest sandwich they got. I love potatoes. I love pasta. I be wanting all that shit. But I have pictures in my phone that I purposely have there. When I was overweight. When I was almost 300 pounds. Between me eating whatever the fuck I wanted to eat and me drinking hella liquor, I had gained hella weight. And some of them pictures I got in my phone right now. Because every now and then, when I'm feeling unmotivated, I look at those pictures. I don't want to look like that again. I don't want to feel like that again. I was miserable as fuck. I felt uncomfortable in my clothes. I had a slow ass walk. I only was able to walk so fucking fast because of all that weight I was carrying. Those pictures, when I look at those pictures motivate me for a moment. But it's the discipline that keeps me going. It's the discipline that makes me show up. The results of my body is what motivates me. to keep going. But it's my discipline that actually makes me show up. So y'all really need to understand that. Y'all really need to get that through your head. You will only be motivated for a little while. And a lot of times you don't have people that's helping to motivate you. You don't have many people out there that's going to pat you on the back or tell you good job or they proud of you. You got to learn to do all that shit for yourself. And you got to learn to continue being disciplined when your motivation run out. But that's my video for tonight. I love y'all. I hope y'all, being safe out there, whatever y'all doing. Continue working on becoming your greatest self. And I'm going to hit y'all up tomorrow. I'm going to drop another video. Peace out.